Good evening. Good evening. Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can hear you.
We can hear you, yes.
Okay. My name is Dr. Victoria Umeh, a lecturer at Chukwemeka Ojukwu University in Nigeria. I'm here to present our study titled Gas Chromatography and Mass Spectrometry and High Performance Liquid Chromatography Analysis of Persea americana seeds. Persea americana is normally known as avocado pear. So we worked on the seed of avocado pear. Introduction. Plants have been found useful in the treatment of various diseases affecting man. And according to a recent report on the prevalence of peptic ulcer disease, there is an increase of 25.85% from 2009 to 2019. That's a big increase. Pharmacological investigation already done previously by Umeh et al. Showing in 2020 reported the ulcer healing and ulcer protective effects of Persea americana seed extracts and fractions. In that work, n-hexane fraction was found to have even higher ulcer healing and ulcer protective effects more than the reference standard drug that was used, cimetidine 150 milligram per kg. And this was what prompted us to work further on this seed extract and fraction. The study. We worked to identify the major compounds in this Persea americana seed and fraction that might be responsible for this ulcer healing and ulcer protective effect that was observed. We're going to do that using HPLC analysis for identification of the polar compounds and GCMS analysis for the identification of the non-polar compound in this seed extract and fraction. We started by preparing the plant material. We got the seed from the fruit, cut it into small pieces, she dried it for 5 days, then grinded into powder. The powdered material was then extracted using hot maceration method. With the extract we got, we now fractionated it with n-hexane fraction, and the residue was the water fraction. HP analysis was carried out using Dion's P580 HPLC system coupled to a photodiode array. And the detection was at 235, 254, 280, and 340 wavelengths. For the GCMS analysis to identify the non-polar compound, we use the n-hexane fraction. We purify the n-hexane fraction further through VLC analysis. We use the method described by Cruz et al., whereby different solvent combination of ethyl acetate and the n-hexane fraction were used to elute the n-hexane from the column. And after everything, we got 11 elements. We went on to find out which of these 11 elements contains compound. In that case, we use TLC analysis, thin layer chromatography analysis. At the end of it, we now found out of these 11 elements, only one of these elements actually contain a compound. So we now use it to run the GCMS analysis. The identification of the major compound using this GCMS analysis was done by comparing their mass spectra with the Wiley Register of Mass Spectra, 8th edition that is attached to the instrument. Then we went on to confirm the mass further by comparing the mass with the standards from the National Institute of Standards and Technology Mass Spectra libraries. And these are the results. For the HPLC analysis, we can see the chromatogram by my left of the crude extract showing different peaks. Each of these peaks represents compound. We have about 9 compounds there, and the 9th one was the most prominent peak, showing that that is the highest compound. and the UV spectrum, UV analysis, UV spectrum of that very ninth peak had a library hit of abscisic acid, showing that abscisic acid is the major compound in this crude extract. The HPLC analysis of the n-hexane also showed us the highest peak at peak 9. The UV spectrum of that peak 9 was showing us abscisic acid as the major compound. For the water fraction, we had up to 15 compounds, but the most prominent was at peak 12, and the library hit was abscisic acid, showing that abscisic acid was the major compound in this, at least the major polar compound, this seed extract and fraction. For the GCMS analysis, you can see the chromatogram here, revealing 24 major compounds. And these major compounds that were revealed were monosaturated alkanes. With this, it showed that abscisic acid is now the major polar compound, this crude extract and fraction of AMERICANA seed. And this abscisic acid is a plant hormone. Some work has been done on exogenous abscisic acid, and it has been found to have some pharmacological activity, like its effect on type 1 diabetes, prostate cancer, but not much work has been done on it. But these are some of the work that has done, not much work, but some works that have been done, I just listed here. Then for this GCMS that revealed to inform monosaturated alkanes, alkanes has been worked on, that is fatty acids. It has been reported as having antimicrobial effect. Antimicrobial effect of this alkane, which we found in abundance in this seed, may have been responsible for the ulcer healing effect that was observed. And the alkane has also been reported as having antioxidant properties. Antioxidants, we know, help to preserve the cells and also helps in wound healing. This may also have played part in the ulcer healing effect that was observed with these extracts and the fractions. And the fatty acid cell has been worked on and found to have to be able to inhibit GIT motility. Inhibition of GIT motility will help to ameliorate ulcer pain and, of course, aid in ulcer healing. Therefore, we also say that the beta effect of the n-hexane fraction, which was observed to be even higher than that of the reference drug at 500 milligrams per kg, could have been as a result of this n-hexane solvent being able to extract most of the active components from the seed, which were in oily form. And during the fractionation, we found out that some solvents like methanol, polar solvent like ethanol, butanol could not extract this seed extract effectively. Hence, we ended up using only n-hexane fraction and water fraction. In conclusion, we can say that major compound in AMERICANA seed that could have been responsible for the ulcer healing and ulcer protective effects are abscisic acid and the monosaturated alkanes. What is the significance of this study? The significance of this study will lead us to the discovery of a novel drug for the peptic ulcer treatment. And we, in developing nation like mine, Nigeria, to treat ulcer is usually very expensive for middle income earners. It's usually very, because the duration of treatment can last for 6 months to 1 year, and many people cannot afford it. Hence, Persea americana seed may be put into a better use instead of being treated as a waste, because most of the time we just throw it away after taking the fruit. So it can be put into a better use. And what we tend to do next is to carry out chronic toxicity study on this seed extract and fraction, bearing in mind that ulcer treatment lasts for a long time, can last for up to 6 months. What will be the effect of this seed extract and fraction if taken for a long period of time? And we tend to test the gastric ulcer healing and ulcer protection of the exogenous abscisic acid against different ulcer models. And then lastly, we tend to isolate and purify the abscisic acid from this seed with the aim of developing a novel anti-ulcer agent with Persea americana seed as the major raw material. These are my references. Thank you for listening.